Hi everyone and welcome back to Genealogy Sucks. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about starting your own genealogy journey. And I took the week off last week primarily to research and kind of make sure this video goes the direction I want it to, and hopefully it does. But to be clear, I did my research. I am also going to share with you my personal story a little bit and some of the things that I've done that have been successful for me. So first and foremost, when you're starting your genealogy journey, you want to have an ancestor in mind, or a place of origin that you know your family is from in mind, or even a specific ancestor's surname. So our family surname is Mastrandria previously, before coming to America. Now it is Mastandria. My great-grandfather's name is Francesco Antonio Mastrandria, and when he came to America, it was Americanized to Mastandria. He then Americanized his name to Francesco and then to Frank. And so I can find documents under all of these names. We'll get into that in a moment. So with his name, knowing that he's from Val dell'Angelo in Salerno helps in the region of Campania. And then, so that all of those things have helped me narrow down the exact person I'm looking for, because surprisingly, I'm sure for all of you, Francesco is a very common name. So once you have your ancestor in mind and you know for sure their Italian name, you might find out from relatives whether or not they Americanized their name and what it was Americanized to. Like I mentioned, my great-grandfather Americanized his name to Frank, Frank Mastandria. So he is a lot more Americanized, I guess, than what his original name was, or at least he feels that he felt it was more Americanized. But once you have that information, you will want to go start looking at US records. I recommend using Ancestry.com or FamilySearch.org. FamilySearch.org is free, and they have international records. It's, I'm pretty sure, one of the largest databases for genealogy resources, and to be honest, I like it better than Ancestry. But you're going to use the Americanized name and the Italian name both, and you're going to search for records. In the case of my great-grandfather, I used his birth date because I had that as well. So I was able to find passenger documents. I was able to find census information. I was able to find death certificates, military service, all kinds of things like that, just with the US record searching. And as far as female passengers, specifically Italian female passengers, because like you guys know, my focus is on my Italian family. So that's the genealogy I'm focusing on most in my videos. So a lot of Italian women traveled using their maiden name. So even if they were married, for example, if at the time my gram was married to my great-grandfather, she would have traveled under the last name Tancredi, because that is her maiden name, not Mastandria. And another thing you might run into is that Italians were birds of passage in a way. They came back and forth between their home country and America more than once. A lot of times, my great-grandfather came back and forth, to my knowledge, at least 4 times. So that makes it a little difficult too, because you'll find gaps in the research that you can't quite make out what the hell happened in that time frame. So that's another really frustrating aspect. If you are unsure of the exact name of the region or village, town, province, whatever that your family comes from, Google search it. I'm telling you this from experience because I still all the time spell Val d'Angelo wrong, and I have absolutely no excuse for doing so. But Google searching it will correct you. It will oftentimes hint you at alternate spellings. Additionally, you can use city directories and the Comuni Italiani for details about towns, villages, provinces, cities, and the like. Using your info, search on family search. That you can go from just US records to international. Italian records are not digitized largely. They are working on it, but prior to a certain point in the 1800s, all of the documentation was done by the church. So you have to have access to the church's documents to be able to find things. There is indexed Italian records on the Family Search website that you can access. You do have to go through manually by hand. There are some for marriage, birth, death, and some public records as well. You can find information about your relatives in all of those, but you do have to kind of go through manually and know what you're looking for. Me, I don't know if it's my reading skills or my age. I can't read Italian cursive. It's very tight and loopy. So it's taken me a while to train my eyes to be able to read these documents. But it has helped me because that's how I found my great-grandfather's previous marriage. That is how I found his original birth certificate or birth record. And those records are kind of like composition notebooks, and they are by year and by category. So it would be like marriage or matrimonio and then the year, or nati, which is birth, and then the year, or morti, I believe is death, and then the year. I'm learning Italian. Don't judge me, please. So, the Italian records have been super helpful to me. The biggest thing, of course, that I highlight a lot is talking to your ancestors, or your living relatives rather, because they're going to give you the most information that they have. My mom didn't know her grandfather, so she can't give me a lot of information about him, but she can give me a lot of information about my gram, what she talked about her life before my grandfather died, and when my grandfather or my great-grandfather died, and when my grandfather was growing up in her home. And my mom can give me a little bit more background information that way. So this is just a jumping off point. This is obviously not the start to finish. This is how you build a family tree. But I hope that these steps have helped you guys a little bit to understand, and I don't want to say grow, but grow your family tree rather, not yourself, but your family tree, and kind of build on the knowledge you already have and go from there. And that is all the chewing of your ears I will do for today. I will be back next week. I am thinking about making a video about genetics and genealogy, like the 23andMe DNA kits. So if you are interested, come back next week. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. I appreciate you all, and thank you for watching.